Hello and welcome to another video, and I'm just gonna inform you this is not a gameplay video. This is me explaining about a vehicle that I recently played, and there's no gameplay in this video, just explaining stuff, so information, etc. of armor, statistics, and gun and penetration, so on. Uh, if you don't want to see that, then click off to another video of mine or someone else. But if you do, I'll put a time mark somewhere on the screen, or basically stamps of every single important thing: armor, penetration, mobility, and my thoughts about the vehicle. But yeah, and also tell me in the comments below if I should keep making it like this. I really like this idea, because if you don't want to see me talking in the main video, you can just not click this link. You can just skip right to the basic gameplay. You don't have to skip at all. But you people that are here and want to hear about it, go on. It's up to you. And I'm also gonna inform I don't have all the 100% information, or like all my thoughts and secret strategies with this vehicle, but I could do that in the next videos if you guys want to see like that. Then you get both a gameplay video and a video about how to use this vehicle so much more efficient, tricks about it, and also weaknesses and more strategical armor placements, etc. so on. But yeah, I'll stop talking now and, jump to the information. Now, the Sherman Firefly says a bat rating 4.7 in the British Tech Tree. This pretty much is a Sherman with a 17-pounder gun. Now you could ask, how would they fit such a big gun in a Sherman's turret? Well, the answer is pretty simple, but not common in other tech trees or vehicles. It's to put the gun sideways. And of course, also extend the turret at the back. Now, I'm not sure why they did this, but I'm guessing that if they would put it normally, either the gun would bounce up and hit the turret with the recoil, or that they would not be able to reload shells into it. Now let's talk about ammunition. The Sherman Firefly has around 190 mm of penetration with its best shell, Shot Mark 8, which is the shell that we're gonna use for today. It's really good against angles, as it is an APC-BC round. It also has really great muzzle velocity for its bat rating, 883 meters per second to be exact. I would recommend you to always bring the Shot Mark 8 on the Sherman Firefly, as it is the best penning round at distance and angles. You could also bring out smoke shells or high explosive shells for light targets or for extra smoke. You already have 6 smoke grenades with you. The armor of the Sherman Firefly isn't the best at its bat rating. The hull is basically the same as the M4A3 Sherman in American Tech Tree, but with a few changes. There's 2 new plates added to the front hull of the Sherman, 2 almost flat plates, which is for the optics, basically worthless in Wolfhunter, and adds in more weak spots to your front hull. The British also covered up the whole machine gun with a 101mm plate right here, which could also save your tank sometimes if someone hits it, as there is also the front hull plate of the Sherman behind it. Should save your tank sometimes if someone hits it. There still is the normal Sherman plate behind it, making it around 160mm of penetration for its own APC-BC shell. With the changes on the hull on the Sherman Firefly, specifically the optics, it makes it much easier to penetrate the Sherman Firefly from the front, as the angles is only the thing that really saves the Sherman. And with these almost flat plates, it both makes it easier at close range and at further range to basically one-shot this vehicle. The hull also comes with 2 track pieces, which works both as extra 20mm plus its angle a bit, and as space armor for people that get gouged. Sides is basically the same as the Sherman's, is 38mm, and is basically flat. The rear is basically the same as the other Shermans, 38mm with slightly angles. Sides and rear will not stop you from anything, even down kit stuff, or even AAs. Turret is quite tricky, basically angled all around, else in this box of course, which could be both good and bad. Why it would be good is in case if they hit a really bad angle, etc. like this. Not the best example, but in game it's just much easier to bounce off. And at the bad way, it counts as flat armor at 360 degrees. So etc. If I'm shooting from over here, I just need to hit over there, and you see basically no more added on effective thickness. And if I just keep going, basically counts as flat armor. Unless I hit a really weird angle like this, but it's not gonna help too much. The front of the turret has around 76 millimeters of armor all around the front, and around the breech, there's actually a lot more armor than you think. 38 millimeters of cast homogeneous armor. Now I know what you think, and there's not a lot of armor over here. You're lying. Now I wasn't really done with the breech yet, as it does have an extra 88.9 millimeters plate behind it. At some locations, of course, making it exactly 120 millimeters of armor. And the second plus, as it has angled armor on both of these plates, making it sometimes really hard to pen this tank. It does have a weak spot on the front of the turret. It does have 25mm less armor on it, which is this right here, making it easier for enemies to pen at close or longer ranges if they just hit your bottom left corner. It's much easier to pen than all this crap, especially if you have a bad shell against angles. This is just easy. And as it makes it easy to pen the weak spot, it becomes much easier to one-shot this Sherman Firefly, as it only has 4 crew members inside the tank, and 3 of them is inside the turret. Doesn't really matter any way you shoot, as long as you hit good, or just have a good shell, it will one-shot this vehicle and remove it from combat. Now the armor on it, as it is a Sherman, it's not the best, but it could sometimes bounce a shell or multiple. Let's use the Panzer IV for etc. if it's 75mm. You can see right here, 130mm. I'm using its default shell because I'm expecting a lot of people to have it. Sometimes, as you see, it's 500 meters and it's already yellow and red at some of these locations. Mostly used on the extra armor, of course. As you see, pretty simple to pen. And this, yeah, you're not going through here. Now, the thing about this Sherman as well, just like the other American Shermans, or some of them, it has extra track armor. As you can see, it adds in more tracks both to the front plate, making it a bit tougher, but still, the biggest weak spots of this tank is still not covered. And they wanted to cover this machine gun port instead. As you can see, a lot of tracks, some even angled on the sides. This can help you a lot when you angle your side hull. I also got on the turret, both from the front and sides a bit. This side, of course, there's not going to be anything, and this side is basically the same as this, with some changes. The back of the turret also has this box, which they needed to extend the turret, I guess. The mobility of the Firefly is pretty poor. Probably the worst mobility of the Shermans, I would say. Probably because of the add-on weight. The gun, the changed hull, the back of the turret, and so on. The Firefly did keep the 50 cal from the American Shermans, which is really useful for either light vehicles, open top vehicles, or planes. Of course, it could also be used to destroy barrels, machine guns, tracks, which could, in fact, save you in some scenarios. I don't really like this Sherman too much, just because of the mobility, but everything else just feels good. I did die a lot while recording this, and some of the footage went to the intro, clues. But I played around 30 games with just this Sherman, probably even more, I can't even count, and most of them were deaths and losses to Russia and Germany couple. The mobility of this Sherman is pretty poor, probably the worst of all the Shermans, especially because of the add-on cannon weight, the extended turret in the back, the weird changes to the frontal, and probably that they made the engine to a boiler. Not really, as it does have basically the same engine as the American Sherman. It just feels a lot more sluggish with the add-on weight. Especially as the track armor actually gives you 1.8 ton more mass, which I was playing with the track armor 24/7, and it saved me while angling, but made my mobility much worse. Thank you for watching 10 of this explaining session, I guess. I will maybe continue this if you want me to do it. It's something that I really like, because it's not gonna be in my video, and people don't have to watch this if they don't want to. And you certainly made it to the end, because either you got tortured to watch this, or you actually, care. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.